Welcome to my channel, everyone. Today, I'll be sharing some tips on studying abroad, some of my own personal experiences, some general tips, some things from friends, and just some very important steps and mistakes that people should take and people should avoid, respectively. Um, my name is Peter Prevelofodu, and this is my channel. I do a number of things. I play the saxophone. I'm into music. I love dance, and so you probably come across some dance videos on my channel. I also study. I'm a student. I'm a second year PhD student at the Department of Physics and Astronomy, Clemson University, USA. And I've been into physics for a while, but I love a couple lots of other things, dancing, music, and so such things are replete over my channel. But today I'm specifically talking to you about grad school, studying abroad, and stuff like that. Straight to the point. I'll go back in time. I have no script reaching out for this, but I want to be very realistic as possible, sharing the most important points. I'm not going to be too careful about accent or all those kind of things you do to try and be very formal on camera. I believe that my audience, they are looking for very realistic help and not just some cooked stuff. I'll try to also package it well in presentation, but mind you, I'm going to be very realistic. I'm giving you the heads up. So I go back in time and refer to my undergrad days. I knew that I wanted to go abroad and study, but I wasn't under excessive pressure. Let me put it that way. Take one step at a time is the first thing I will tell people who are, looking forward to studying abroad. I mean, especially if you are in your undergrad level now. If you're watching this video and you're at your undergrad level, I think that statement is particularly for you. Focus on the current step and doing well at it. So, when I gained admission into the University of Benin, Nigeria, to study physics, I'd made up my mind that I wanted to do well starting from my first year, and good things happened, and they kept happening. I mean, although there's a price to be paid for everything you study hard, there's a place of, for me, God factor helping me and giving me grace and all of that. But I did my part. Now, the first thing I say is take it one step at a time. I took my undergrad seriously, but as I was rounding up my undergrad program, say, okay, towards the 300 level, because my undergrad program was a 4 year physics um, program. And as I was rounding up, say, towards the 300 level, 400 level, I should have it in Nigeria. I began to think, oh, what do I want to do in 5 years? What do I want to do in the next couple of years if I finish school and all of that? And for me, I was quite passionate about learning higher level of physics, looking into the deeper realms. Oh, you say I like trouble. That might be it. That might not be it. But I wasn't just satisfied at the level of physics I was exposed to in undergrad, and I needed more. I also knew that, oh, it's a pathway to getting established in life. But yes, I have a passion in that line. So I said, okay, I was going to go out and see how it looks. And so I had the desire to study abroad. And my mindset was not particularly that of Jackpa, although I loved the fact that you could leave your country, gain experience, get established elsewhere. But it was more like passion driven. Jackpa is great in many perspectives, and I'm telling you, yes, if conditions are not suitable for you, you can make advancement in studying, and from there get good living. But I'd mentioned that you must be very particular about what you want to come and do when it comes to studying. You must have that passion. If not, you'd when pressure begins to mount up, I mean in terms of workload, you probably lose it. So having that passion towards the end of my undergrad program, I decided to, okay, find out what does it take. So I started first. I'll say, okay, what I've said thus far, take one step at a time. Number two, have a clear cut passion you're pursuing. So the third step I took was make the required connections. My first connection was with someone I knew who was in the US, a much more senior colleague, studying. And I made a connection with him, and I was like, okay, although I don't disturb him most of the time, I'm like, okay, just express my mind. I want to do something like what you're doing right now. Making that connection, I just kept it there, ask questions once in a while, make the connection, check on them, and all of that. So I made that connection, but that was not just the stop. That was not where the connection stopped. I started making connections within my closest circle. I will ship this in quickly. Be a normal, good person. Don't just be a ruffian in life. Love people, deal with people. That's why you need God. I mean, sorry if you're not the religious kind, but I don't know how to separate that from the real life. You need God. You need to know how to act with people. You need to know how to treat people right. And you need God for that. Your ego is not always important. And so, if you want to really rise, you would need the grace of God to deal with people rightly. So, personally, for me, not like I was perfect or something, but I, to some extent, treated people right and all of that. So, I had some of my lecturers, um, okay, being studious and all of that stuff stood out. And but I had some of my lecturers as friends, and my project supervisor, quite a kind man, and we had a very good relationship. This is another level of connection I always advise people to have, even in your immediate circle. Cook the connections that will help you grow. So I had a great relationship with that man. God bless him wherever he is. He's in good place. He's in a good place though. Um, he was passionate about my advancement. We began to talk about it. Required examinations that I would take. Oh, how suitable it is to expose yourself to the rays of studying abroad and all of that. So having that, sorry for the notification. If you're hearing a notification sound, I'm recording the video on my phone. I'm sorry about that. I don't know if the sound got into the video, but if you hear any awkward sound or maybe the mic things getting windy, please just forgive that. So he was quite passionate about my journey and decided that okay, I'm going to start sharing tips with this boy. And what was he saying? Oh, we talked about writing the IELTS exam. Although particularly that time I had not done my own personal research and it was not clear cut whether I should write the exam or not. But he started mentioning those things and those things started spurring me. I was getting ready, just hearing them. And this was, I would say, roughly between 300 level and my finals, or maybe more emphatic in my finals. Another thing he did for me was make sure that whatever you do as your thesis or final year project is something that, even if it is not published or if it is published, it's a standout job that shows that you can do research, that you can put in effort. It's not just copy and paste kind of thing. So those things are what it did for me at that level. I made that connection. I also got on good terms with lecturers whose courses I was doing well in. I was on good terms with them. You're gonna see the usefulness of these good terms I'm talking about. When I did IT in 300 level, I was in good terms with wherever I did that company where I did the IT. I was in good terms with my my supervisor there and all of that. You will see where this comes in handy. After finishing school, for some reason I could not go for the NYSC, and I had to quickly. This is where I say, don't just fall on your face and stay there. I graduated to first class, a striking one at that, best in my department and in the faculty. Quite good news. But now, for some reason, life is lifing, and I could not go for NYC. I quickly plugged into a secondary school and was teaching. I was teaching physics, further maths, and computer studies. Now, doing that with all of my heart and every effort. I forgot that I was not just a teacher, but I was very impactful about the life of those young people. I know what it is to be young and trying to struggle with education, and what I mean by that is trying to put effort into excelling at school. So I started mentoring, training, putting my best into teaching them. Was organizing physics labs, and so I was almost lost in this adventure of impact, because what more life can you believe in than blessing and impacting and all of that? That's more like the real spice of life to me. Now I knew that yes, I still want to proceed for grad school. Luckily for me, I wasn't even very specific. I didn't even know that what I was doing was an advancement, I was, you know, checking the list for requirements for grad school for which I was aspiring. What do I mean by that? On the long run, I decided to apply. I wasn't one who applied to several schools. I applied to a school in Canada, and I got a rejection in that case. Later, a professor contacted me from there and wanted us to work on a scholarship thing. But eventually, Canada did not work out. But simultaneously, I was applying to the US, and here's a list of things, steps I took. Now, working for like about 1.5 or almost 2 years before, no, right after I finished school, I had graduated in a standard fashion. I had graduated in a standard fashion, and I was working, teaching, and all of that. Now, preparing preparing a good CV is a very important step in this. And make sure that in your CV you are going for grad studies, and the most, let me not say most, very delicious or very sumptuous scholarships will come in the fashion of GTAs. GTAs being graduate teaching assistantship jobs for which your tuition is waived and you get paid some stipend. Now they need the experience. They need to have a feel of your experience in teaching. Now probably as at then I was not um exposed to this information, but it's good you know now if you are at whatever level you are and aspiring. They need some experience either in teaching or devotion at a level to work, and they want to see your ability to push projects. If you get a GTA, very important, or I would say almost compulsory, is your experience to teach. So mine showed up in my CV, and some other experiences, my other, standout achievements with respect to awards or scholarships won as an undergrad student. Let them show up in your CV. Let your grade point, your CGPA, show up in your CV. Let your leadership experiences show up in your CV. Let your skills stand out, show up, even though they might not be all top level. If you have at least basic and required foundational knowledge in programming and all of that, let it show up in your CV. Now, I prepared that CV, got my transcript ready as well. So, I'm listing some items that you need. Your CV packed well with the kind of information that will draw the kind of scholarship you need. Your CV should also contain your research experience. I had, right after graduating, published a paper with the Literacy Promoting Association of Nigeria. And as at that time, it was known as the Reading Association of Nigeria. And what exactly did I publish with them? I published a paper demystifying physics for 21st century learners. And then I combined this with my final year thesis and plugged everything into my CV as what I have with respect to research experience. Now, makes a compact CV. I'm not saying I'm altogether perfect. I see the hand of God in all I'm doing, but I'm giving you very realistic steps for your next goal of studying abroad, especially if it's grad school. Now, I was able to also prepare my transcript, got ready. And one thing with transcript is that, at least for my own institution, I know that you have to get an unofficial transcript which you use to apply to schools. And then the fashion, at least with many USA um, universities, is send that, apply with that unofficial transcript, and later if you are given admission, you can send your institution can send the official transcript to them. So I got my unofficial transcript ready, my CV ready. Those papers I talked about, both the one published with the Literacy Promoting Association of Nigeria and my final year thesis, I got them ready. There is now something called a statement of purpose. And maybe in some other video, I will talk about how to write a proper statement of purpose, at least to the best of my experience, knowledge from friends, and all of that. I wrote a good statement of purpose, and then I also got recommenders. Now, this is where relationship, which I talked about towards the end of my undergrad program or within my entire journey in the undergrad cycle, mattered a lot. I had to reach out to some of my lecturers, and they were pretty kind. The relationship was there. My project supervisor is superb man. We had a connection, we had a relationship. Reached out to a couple of them, and yeah, I will just ship in that your recommendations don't have to come from people that don't know you. Some people love to plug in professors who don't even actually know them. Meanwhile, they ignore some of the PhD holders, doctors, and lecturers who taught them, who are sound and know them, and they can write standout stuff for them. And even people. So I contacted the supervisor I worked with in the IT session, and when I was doing my IT in 300 level, I reached out to my spirit supervisor and one other superb lecturer, one of my best lecturers in physics then, and they all wrote me recommendations. Now, I believe I've listed a couple of very important items. On the portal for application, I uploaded all of this and stayed expectant. Before I go further, there's something I don't want to forget. Trying as possible to I'm trying as much as possible not to forget it. But if I remember, I will let you know. Yes, while waiting during the course of my teaching and all of that, I did not just sit back waiting for the opportunity to jump on me. You look out for opportunities, and I will drop a link in the description to a Telegram group that's common where they commonly drop some of these opportunities. And I think it's even captured in the name of the Telegram group, opportunities portal, something like that. So you look out for opportunities and apply. And I will also seek out my write ups somewhere and check out some of the universities that are free. I mean, that you have free application to, you don't need to pay, especially in the US. And I will give a concise list of them in the description below. Check it out. Also, some of their dynamics might have changed. Maybe some years later after I made this video, or maybe even right now. But just try. Check out some of them. You might still find out that they are still free. Apply, apply, apply. It's another thing I will emphasize. So I pushed out my application, and good for me. Waited, continued my life. Was not giving up on making impact. Was not giving up on also saying, oh, if this does not work out, I'm ready to apply to this and stuff and other stuff. So for now, if you want to study abroad, I would just say you maybe um you've listened, make a concise list, jotting of some of the points you gain from this video. And I'll probably see you in my next video. But I believe, and I want to believe, that this helped you in a way. Just short tips. And still check the description box for some of those universities that might be free. If you have questions, drop them in the comment section. If you have reactions, please do drop them in the comment section. I try to be as realistic as possible, so, and I will honor your perspectives, and try my best to also make videos responding to your comments and all of that. I won't forget that an SOP section, statement of purpose video, will be coming later on. Please stay great, stay hopeful, stay jiggy, and always remember that if you're on this channel, I love you and I am rooting for you, and you should try as much as possible to subscribe.